I would survive The Walking Dead. I know this says why you wouldn't survive, but I know I would, me personally. So
That's my old bill.
yeah,
150.
I don't know about y'all niggas. Fuck y'all. I ain't mean that. I ain't mean that. Jesus Christ is Lord, but it's like yeah, I feel like I'll survive the zombie apocalypse.
Percent of the world's population.
Hopefully, we never have one though, because honestly, I think the loss, like the just losing the access to weed would be ridiculous, and I think not having a steady shower may be potentially as scary. Uh, Being alone, like I'm good. Like nah. Shout out Rick Grimes.
And turning people into flesh-eating monsters referred to in the series as walkers. And although that all sounds very bad on paper, I still think a lot of people watch the series and think
Yeah, like
paper
little ass nigga, like you know what I'm saying. You don't want no little ass nigga like end up like Carl. You don't want no little ass nigga like Carl. Carl Grimes. You don't want that shit happen. Shout out nigga Carl. He tougher than 99% of the men on this planet. You know what I'm saying, bro? You gotta admit that shit, bro.
I still think a lot of people watch the series and think, yeah, surviving in this world would be a piece of cake. I'm sure I
No.
could morph into a prime Rick Grimes,
No.
grab my red-handled machete.
You can't. You're not biting into a man's like. You're not biting into a live man's neck. It's just not happening. A lot of niggas don't got that dog in them. But Rick, bro. Push came to shove. Rick became a wolf. He became a beast. That's Rick Grimes.
And start hacking some
Shane was already a beast. I just wished they didn't kill him off second season. And I'm not saying keep him, but at least have him exit the show in a different way. I mean, bro, such a pop culture, because Walking Dead is like really big pop culture wise. Everybody was watching this shit. Like you forgot how many niggas was really watching this shit at this show's peak. So it's like Shane like was a massive hit. I feel like I really disliked the day he got killed off because it made the story good. But man, like I remember just lurking on the internet one day and then somebody was like, imagine if when Negan around the time Negan pulled up, so like season what six or seven, and then like Shane pulled up too because he was a part of Negan's crew. Shit like that would have been hard. But it's like you got that one guy from season one. He was like Mexican or I believe or something, and he was a part of that group. People will know what I'm talking about. I forgot his name, but anyway, he ended up being a part of Negan's group, right? And then like Daryl killed them or like Rick killed them. No, Daryl was fighting them and then Rick killed him and he was like, Rick, that was bro. And Rick was like, I know. Didn't even matter. That shit was hard. Like imagine if Shane was still here. Little rant.
slow-moving zombies to death. But I'm here to be the bearer of bad news and tell you you're very wrong. Because when society collapses, there are far deadlier factors at play than merely just avoiding walker bites.
Nah, facts. I would be fucking terrified of humans. Like, nah, if a bad bitch was like, I ain't gonna lie. I feel like a bad bitch is just something like if you meet one, but you like reluctant to trust her. This is a gamble you gotta take in them days. Cause like, come on, bro. Zombie apocalypse doesn't necessarily narrow the chances of getting laid down to it does drastically, but it doesn't mean like it's a 0% chance of getting laid. It's never a 0% chance of getting laid, apocalypse or not. I mean, we see it all the time. You know what I'm saying? Bro, we seen niggas get laid in this show alone since season one, bro. So like shit overly chill.
So this is why you wouldn't survive The Walking Dead.
But I would though. And I'm about to tell y'all why I would. While he also explains why we wouldn't.
Okay, I know I've just stated that there's more to worry about than just being bitten by a walker, but we must first address the elephant in the room, and that is the flesh-eating reanimated corpses that call this universe home. Now, at first glance, any zombie seen in the series post-season 1, I'll admit, would be fairly easy to deal with in isolation. But not only
Okay.
did the series creator Robert Kirkman confirm that the zombies in this universe outnumber the living roughly 5,000 to 1,
Oh, that's fucking ridiculous.
but I also see people, when tackling this hypothetical scenario, totally dismiss one crucial fact, and that is the
what's that?
concept of zombie media just doesn't exist in the world of The Walking Dead. I mean, think about it.
Yes.
We've all grown up watching
They did say, okay, wait, I got okay.
Shaun of the Dead, playing Plants vs Zombies, or binging horror films, and because of this, we are familiar with the fairly universal rules of these undead
zombie
monsters,
apocalypse.
i.e.
Yes.
must destroy the brain to kill them, a bite means you're in.
But they didn't know none of that in the show. There was no zombie media in the show. I remember hearing that about like Robert Kirkman like ideas and shit. Like, yeah, it wasn't no comic books, there wasn't no movies, there was no propaganda, there's none of that for zombies and anything regarding like undead monsters and shit. So yeah.
Infected and avoid population.
But does that mean he's putting like, is this okay, yes. He's putting us in the Walking Dead verse, and this is a reason why we won't survive, because if we're in that verse, we have no knowledge of zombies in that verse. So therefore, say day one, day outbreak go, because that's truly some random shit. We never know what the fuck to do.
Areas at all costs. But the people of the Walking Dead universe, with you included if you were dropped into it,
Don't
would
point
have
that finger
no
at me, though.
idea of these aforementioned zombie rules, or even the concept of a zombie itself. It would just be a totally alien concept, decreasing your chances of survival massively.
That's my
Bro,
wife.
I ain't gonna lie, that shot was so hard with the horse, nigga. Empty freeway, which was overly plot. Was the freeway empty on that side because he was going towards the city, but everybody was leaving the city? Yeah. And look at all the, like, that's crazy. This is like, okay, truth be told, this is the worst area probably to ever be in a zombie outbreak. Like, the fucking freeway? With the worst traffic known to mankind? No. Absolutely the fuck not. Like, best bet, this is clearly the entrance to the city. You on this freeway? I'm gonna have to book it to the forest, nigga. Cause long term, like, I don't think there's a good spot to be in the apocalypse. Like, I feel like in the apocalypse, bro, there's like the bunker, but the bunker has to have like years of like survival tools and food and shit on some Z Nation shit. Maybe a farm, but we seen how that played out in this verse. But that doesn't play out for every farm, because that was just like a select, like weird type of characters that led to select events occurring. But I just think that, yeah, a bunker, maybe a farm, but you already growing crop, because you can't do that shit in the forest, because wildlife doesn't care about your food, and neither do you. Especially like, and there's too much shade in the forest. So it's like, yeah, bro, there's only really two good ideal spots for like to be held up in the zombie apocalypse. So if it's not those two, I feel like it's gonna be a pretty rough go around. I'm not gonna lie. I muted my
Let me
bad.
set the scene for you all. One night, your dad becomes sick with a strange illness, and that night,
Christ
whilst asleep
forbid,
in your
bro.
room, you suddenly
What?
wake up to the excruciating pain of your own
So
father.
this is the
In
okay.
your room, you
Let me
suddenly
lock
wake
in.
up to the
Okay, if this happens, if this is his hypothetical scenario for us. I'm gonna talk about this with BB later. This is a hypothetical scenario of us. That means that I gotta start off the zombie apocalypse dealing with that shit. What he said about Pops, which is really rough. Not cool.
excruciating pain of your own father biting into your arm. But your
Yeah,
immediate
not cool.
reaction after waking up would not be to smash your dad's skull in with a lamp and amputate your infected arm, because you wouldn't even understand the sheer severity of the situation until it was way too late. And I know that example sounds incredibly niche and specific, but this is exactly how millions of people would be caught off guard. When a loved one
Yes.
is burning up with a fever and acting
This
violently,
is so
our instincts would
unfair,
be
though.
to comfort them, try and calm them down, or call an ambulance, not
This is
grab
so
a shotgun
unfair.
and end their existence. And it's this fundamental lack of knowledge that would sweep across the
And then everybody will become a walker. because nobody knows that nobody knows, everybody's not too sure of what they're going to become and all that other shit. So the population of walkers just heavily build up. Hey, if you watch Daryl's show, you know that shit happened in France. That's where the outbreak happened.
Planet causing the death of millions. Long before many of you could pick up a baseball bat, wrap it in barbed wire, and start strutting around the apocalypse.
At least one cool nigga. At least one cool nigga in every apocalypse.
If you did somehow manage to survive the initial wave of domestic horror, your survival would still boil largely down to sheer geographical luck. Because if you live in a major city, the odds are already stacked against you.
That's what I'm saying. Like, me being in Detroit, bro, I'm not planning on staying in this crib. That feel like some dumbass shit. There's no grocery stores around me. There's maybe one that's close distance. There's like a few gas stations on my street. But all that shit's probably gonna be looted anyway. Early days, like at least through day 1 through 10, a zombie outbreak, I would have to leave the city. Detroit, unless you go near the water, is just boated to fucking Canada. It's like what? I'm surrounded by other metro areas. I would need to find like some really rural areas, bro, and like that'd be the plan. I don't know how to grow food, though. Wait, hold on. I'm not about to tell y'all my weaknesses. I'm about to be hypocritical because I don't got no chatters yet, so I can be deluded about my ideas and belief of survival apocalypse. But let's lock in.
Hearing the chaotic news reports of a virus making people uncontrollably violent while you sit alone in a high-rise apartment. You would have no idea what to do with
I wouldn't want to be in a high-rise apartment.
Do you fight back against these crazed individuals chasing you down the street? Or is there a vaccine on the way that can heal them all? But little do you know, the entire world is already infected and there is no cure coming. And even if you did decide to fight back for your life, how long would it take you to realise that body shots do absolutely nothing against these things? And the only way to stop them is with a direct blow to the brain. My point is,
I feel like that's common sense, though. Zombie meteor in that verse or not. You know it's one true shot that you have to take to put away a violent organism. And that's like to the head. That's like to the head. So it's like you just know. I just feel like it's common sense, bro. I'm sorry.
People would die long before Rick Grimes even
I feel like
woke
I
up
peep
from his
game,
coma
like, you
series,
feel me?
as they just simply would have no idea what threat they were dealing with. And that's not to mention, even if you did survive the initial days/weeks of the apocalypse, how easy it would be to let your guard down for just a moment and get bitten or have your camp invaded by a passing horde of the dead.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie, I would be so pissed if I got bit by a zombie. Like, sheer, utter anger. Like, I always thought in my head, bro, if I got really good at surviving apocalyptic scenarios, IRL, like if I got really good at like just surviving, at least a 10-year run. At least. Maybe that's too much. Maybe 7. Just give it a good go. You know what I'm saying? One last good old swing. 10-year run. Benny Butcher. So it's like, if I can do that, I would be, but if it's just not, if it's truly, like if I genuinely get bit, I'll be so fucking angry, bro. Like it's not even funny. Like I wouldn't even be mad because at the end of the day, what am I losing? It's not like I can't. You feel me? Like the world already over. I lasted longer than 80% of the fucking planet. Like. Yeah, there's nothing to lose. I guess I wouldn't be too mad, but still suck though. Because I want to get bit by a fucking zombie.
Reese from the main TV series, for example, a 6 foot tall, physically capable former NFL player
got caught off guard, which is so fries. And you know what's crazy about Tyrese is the thing is he's a 99 overall with a hammer. I've seen him do Rick level feats. Like Rick with that accent, Alexandria. Bro, Tyrese with that hammer, nigga. Especially when they was searching for supplies in season 4. Like, Tyrese was just tweaking, bro. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Like, aside from Rick and Daryl, yeah, a nigga like Tyrese had to be around, respectfully.
He's caught off guard by a singular walker. And later on in the show, we saw this with Carl Grimes as well. Just one lapse of judgment or one wrong turn could mean your end. Add to the fact you'd probably be sleep deprived, starving, and dehydrated, and it makes these mistakes a lot
even easier to happen. See, yeah, okay, like, okay, we could talk about that. Like, yeah, I can't say I'll be fully nourished all the time. I don't think that's gonna happen in an apocalypse. There's gonna be times you gotta stretch your supplies thin, or you just go a minute without them. And yeah, bro, the way you feeling, you're gonna be moving all groggy. You're gonna be feeling all weird. You're gonna be moving all slow. Yeah, bro, might get locked. You might get fucked up like by a walker. Like, just catch you off guard. Like, you remember how, like, at least when Carol was in that prison and she went days being lost, and she just lost like complete like nourishment, no dehydration. I mean, no hydration, no food. She was hungry. She locked herself, like, she put herself in a room. You know, kept herself quiet so no zombies could get her and all that other shit.
So although the zombies from the
Even though
Walking
if
Dead
she did get found, she still would have low-key got fried.
might not be clicker level threats, they still possess a very real danger. Whether it's from a lack of knowledge, being caught off guard, or the sheer numbers of them roaming around. But hey, at least walkers are somewhat in your control.
Sneaky.
The next factor is entirely based on your immune system.
If Bitcoin ever reaches
my immune system, please. That's he's bringing up good points right now.
Okay, so now we've identified just one of the many threats of surviving in this world, let's look into something that only further decreases your chances of survival. And that is, of course, the wildfire virus itself. So to understand why your immune system is your biggest liability here, we first have to look at how the wildfire virus itself actually operates. And this brings us nicely to one of the biggest plot twists in the entire series, and that is the secret Dr. Jenna whispers to Rick Grimes in season 1, revealing that everybody is infected, including living people. But what does this mean for your survival chances? Well, we all know the virus turns people into flesh-eating monsters and relies on reanimated hosts to pass on the deadly infection via bites. But what people fail to account for, as seen throughout Fear the Walking Dead Season 1...
So when a nigga become a zombie, it's some sort of parasite becoming the host of the body, turning him into such a monster. Because, like, in the show, the brain is still alive in some capacity, right? Because how else are you, like... Because you got to shoot the brain to kill them. So it's like, you got to shoot the brain to kill the zombies. And so it's like, So it's basically like Peacemaker Season 1 with the fucking butterflies.
Is a huge portion of the world's population flat out died from the virus without being bitten. Now, putting a number on just how many people died from this would be purely speculation, as it's never actually been stated in the series. But we can say with absolute
He just throwing that shit in. He just throwing that shit in.
Your immune system might not be able to combat the initial infection in the first place. Essentially meaning no amount of combat training, stockpiling food, or rural living will protect you if you are one of the millions who simply fall sick and die on day one of the apocalypse. Let that sink in. In August of 2010, the virus swept across the globe and infected everybody, laying dormant in billions. And you might just get genetically unlucky. So, your body reacts poorly to the initial pathogen, you run a fatal fever, and you're basically dead before you even realise a zombie apocalypse is happening. And ultimately, this factor is totally out of your control. And there is a very real threat that your immune system wouldn't even let you survive the first 48 hours. On top of this, due to how the virus works, even if you or somebody else dies from a non-zombie related incident, like a heart attack or infection for example, they will come back as a walker, which is why it's so hard to maintain a community in this environment, because all it takes is one non-walker related fatality and it can cause utter chaos if you're not extremely careful.
Yeah.
If you have
Like, I was just let him speak.
Haven't already gathered, there's a huge element of luck that goes into surviving the apocalypse, but things will
Like,
now
my
get
Rory wouldn't even
even
truly be
worse. Let's
zombies. Of
assume you
course, it'd
get
be like
genetically
most of the
lucky,
time,
survive the copious
because I'll
amounts of
probably be
walkers
like
roaming around the
alone.
streets,
I'm sorry.
and none of your family get infected. Well, now you have to deal with the pleasure of other survivors. Now, I already find dealing with people hard enough in the real world, so now imagine a crazed psycho like the governor who has zero regard for human life and views you purely as an expendable asset, rolling up.
You don't trust a nigga that put together in the apocalypse, though. You don't trust a nigga like that. Like, you feel me? I'm not saying you can't trust a nigga that just show up clean. Because you could generally trust some niggas from Alexandria. I forgot his name, but I'm going to say the gay man because all I remember was that he was gay. Let me see. You could trust that guy. Nigga showed up. Skin is white as snow. No dirt, no nothing. You seen how Rick and them was looking, bro. You seen. Like, bro, that shit's bad. That shit, like, that state of apocalyptic scenario, that, like, being in there is so disgusting. Like, everybody fucking stink. Niggas be shitting because they have to. Niggas be pissing because they have to. Wearing the same fucking underwear is gross. No deodorant. It's just bodily sense that's not good. The lack of water, the lack of food. All this shit will drive a nigga insane. All this shit enough to drive a nigga crazy, bro. I tweet. Genuinely.
On you with a
I lose all hope in humanity probably. Like,
my point is, we
yeah.
quite clearly see in the series the
Nah, this
biggest
nigga was
threats
wild,
after
though.
the initial fall of society is other people, and walkers quickly become a background hazard. Make no mistake, the post-apocalyptic landscape is an utterly ruthless place, and
Like, you literally had niggas in the show dressing up as walkers, bro.
it's usually the worst of the worst who will survive. The character of Dale sums this up perfectly in Season 2, where he describes this new world as now being survival of the fittest. When supplies are scarce, shelter is limited, and disagreements happen, unfortunately, people will very quickly resort to violence in order to solve disputes and problems. I mean, we even see it in the real world, so when you remove the punishment and consequences of the law, it would basically become the purge on steroids. I think the absolute scariest part of the entire apocalypse would without a doubt be dealing with the other survivors. You let your guard down for 1 second or hesitate and someone else could kill you. You run
That's what I'm saying. Like, nigga could be following you and you don't know it. Or the nigga can't. Or the nigga not following you at all, but paranoia can fuck with you. Having to check every single nook and cranny and not having peace of mind, not being able to lay anywhere because there is no peace of mind because there could be a zombie anywhere. There could be some random nigga anywhere. Like, bro, that shit crazy, bro.
Constant risk of raiders stealing your supplies
Low
and
key
doing
big reason
much,
why I
much
wouldn't
worse.
have
And if your
apocalypse in
community's
zombie
resources are
universe.
getting tight, even your closest allies might decide your share of the food is worth more than your own life.
Literally.
Ultimately,
that's why you gotta be somebody overly useful. Like, everybody just can't be, like, you gotta be somebody so useful and so clutch. Like, niggas just need you around, regardless if they fuck with you or not, and they know that. Like, you possess a skill so valuable, whether that be in know how to garden or just knowing how to, like, break down live animals that you just hunted and cook them and clean them and, well, actually clean them and then cook them, excuse me. Just knowing how to do all that shit because nobody else does. Let's be honest here. Most of the population don't know how to do that shit, including me. So it's like, if I would see a nigga, or if I happen to be in a group with a nigga, and nigga that's in plural, anybody that's like that, oh yeah, let's keep them around, bro.
in order to survive, you would have to be incredibly careful of who you let into your group. If you go it alone, you run the risk of being overwhelmed by a larger group. And if you go for the safety in numbers approach, someone you once trusted might betray you.
We finally moved from California.
Fries, man. That's the bad part, man. You know, that's just looking like the annoying part of the apocalypse, bro. Some real nigga shit. You need anime in your life. Big B, you need my cock out your mouth, all right, buddy? It's like, no, I'm sorry. I need. Look, bro. I don't think I need anime. And then when Anchor Beans and Stretch, nah, low key. Hold on, is the video playing? Sidetrack. Oh, this long ass still going.
I dread to think about all the atrocious acts once sophisticated people would be committing in a now lawless world. Murder, SA, cannibalism, theft, and much more. Add in layers of deceit, lies, and false hope, and it makes every single person you run into in your post-apocalyptic journey a potential death trap. Oh, and by the way, spoiler alert, you are not Rick Grimes, so you don't have the main...
You don't fucking know that. You don't know I'm not like... You don't know I don't got the Rick Grimes potential. Don't ever say I don't. I could lock the fuck in day one. You get me? Like, let's be honest here. Come on, bro. You just gotta have a little heart. That dog in you. Probably a little more than that dog in you. Like, push come. He probably right. Because I can't guarantee I wouldn't bite a nigga neck off. I can't guarantee I would, though. But Rick bit a nigga neck off. He saw his son getting touched on. Drove him there. Like, come on, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Like, if I seen a member of mine getting touched on, like somebody about to try to do that, I'm probably bite a nigga neck off too. Like, no lie. Like real nigga shit. You feel me? That's just how it gotta be.
Character plot armor we see in the series. Just think of all the antagonists you could run into in this world. The termites, the governor, the claimers, the wolves, the whisperers, and the list goes on. And these are only the ones we see on screen, so think what else could be lurking out there. In a world of survival of the fittest where hesitation becomes fatal, it would be brutal, exhausting, and a deeply depressing place to try and exist. And look, of course, I'm not saying every single person would be this evil lunatic, but unfortunately, the vast majority probably would be. And it's the sad, but ultimately realistic truth of human nature. Because when our backs are against the walls, we become desperate, selfish, and loyalties would very quickly go out the window. All it takes is you walking along one day and somebody hiding in the bushes decides they want your stuff, so they're going to kill you for it. Or you hesitate in pulling the trigger, realizing the severity of taking another human life, only to be beaten to it by that other person who shoots you first. Or, even worse, you walk into a settlement under the pretenses they will take you in and look after you, only to find out it's a bunch of cannibals and you're on the menu tonight. At least with walkers, you know what to expect, a mindless pursuit of flesh, as humans are complicated, cunning, and deceitful, making them the most dangerous post-apocalyptic threat you could possibly find. Now, this next factor plays heavily into your geographical location, which I did touch upon earlier, whilst also kind of linking to the other survivors section, because it's people and the military's reaction to the wildfire virus, particularly in cities across America. In the first few days of the outbreak, local police departments quickly became overwhelmed, hospitals filled up, and riots broke out nationwide. So the military was dispatched into major cities across America, setting up safe zones in strategic areas in order to try and regain control from the undead. This, however, would very quickly prove futile, as after just over a week of trying to retake the cities, morale, supplies, and exhaustion quickly overwhelmed the soldiers, as they not only fought an utterly relentless foe, but were also dramatically outnumbered, with central areas of cities crawling with walkers. But what that means for you is if you were a civilian and you lived in a city across America, you would have to get incredibly lucky to already be living within an area the military fenced off and protected as a quote-unquote safe zone, or you'd be stuck in a living hell. After things went bad, many people tried to exit the cities, in turn blocking up all the highways, making it—
Man, yeah, that was fucked up. And to think, Carl, Carol, because that's how they met, I think, and Shane, like, was all in that situation, on the freeway, stranded, trapped. Everybody on that freeway is panicking. They can't move. All the exits are blocked. The freeway's jam-packed. Not too much progress being made. The fact that they was in that scenario is insane. Like, but because we watch those shows, we know not to do that. But since we're in that universe, we don't know not to do that. That's so crazy.
Escape for you via vehicle virtually impossible. To make things even worse, the military were ordered to contain the virus. So in turn, they shot anything that moved outside of safe zones, whether you were infected or not. So unless you were in one of these military zones, you'd be playing a constant and very deadly game of hide and seek.
No.
Can I show you an insanely good...
Hey, all these ads, bro. I'm gonna have to get premium. I get premium, bro. Not gonna lie. Is premium worth it? Put in the comments if premium worth it. I know it's worth it. Just off this bullshit alone. Never mind. Fuck you. Don't put in the comments if premium worth it. I'm sorry.
Went in to supposedly save you. Walkers were now everywhere across the cities, and riots of angry survivors plagued the country. Your chances of being stuck in a city and trying to survive outside of a military safe zone would be very slim. But even if you were lucky enough to be in a safe zone, you wouldn't fare much better in the end, as some camps became overrun, but the worst was yet to come. Because after the military realized they weren't going to be able to take back America's cities, they initiated a plan to try and neutralize the virus. In the middle of the night, the military would evacuate their posts and their safe zones, telling no civilians. And only a matter of...
This guy hasn't convinced me I want to survive this apocalypse. Maybe he has once or twice, but not every way around. Yeah, I think I got a fair shot at that. You know, I'm done watching that video, or am I? Do I really want to be done watching this video? Because what if he does convince me I couldn't survive that apocalypse? He just hasn't yet, though. You know, that's really jacking my beanstalk. I don't get it. You know, I feel like I got a real good shot at surviving that apocalypse, bro. Like, real nigga shit, bro. That's just me. But, yeah, you know, we're going to let this guy cook or whatever. We're going to let this guy do his due diligence.
Hours later, before some had even realized their retreat, the city would be bombed with napalm.
What did I just do?
This top secret mission was dubbed Operation Cobalt, and the only way in Fear the Walking Dead our survivors find out about this classified operation is by literally capturing and torturing a soldier. For many, whilst sound asleep in their supposed safe zones or whilst fighting for their lives outside of them, they would be met by a constant bombardment.
Okay, fine. If I'm happen to be in a fucking crib or in an urban area, that would be a potential nuke threat. Fine, whatever. You got me. But if I'm not, I'm just saying, bro.
Of bomb.
That's a big introduction of how grimy shit gonna get in this apocalypse. Like, the first sign is that the government is saying, fuck them niggas. Drop a bomb. That's the government saying that. You know how crazy shit gotta get? So it's just like, from a realistic standpoint, come on, bro. I'm probably be like season 1 Shane ready, minus the snake inside of him that made him want to fuck his girl and shit.
This would not only kill millions of survivors, but also only add to the Walker problem, as people subsequently died and reanimated. Operation Cobalt was a colossal military fail and led to the collapse of their control. But this failure meant if you lived in pretty much every city across America except Philadelphia and Portland, who managed to escape this fate, you would almost certainly be killed. As for cities outside of America, like Paris, London and Barcelona, although not bombed, we see they fared incredibly poorly as well due to the sheer density of people. So, in the world of The Walking Dead, just merely existing in a city essentially becomes a death sentence.
Yeah.
I think often one of the most overlooked challenges within any apocalypse is the mental aspect of it. Let's quickly assume you are within the 1% of survivors, and although the odds aren't in your favour, there is definitely a chance you might survive. While the chances of the people you once loved also being in that 1%, let's just say, are not in your favour. Let's look at Rick Grimes, for example, and just take a second to think about how mentally taxing his journey through the apocalypse was.
Yeah, Rick survived a lot of shit. I probably wouldn't have, yeah. Like, when that nigga started tweaking, once I seen how crazy I went, like, say, like, when Lori got, like, fried, Yeah, bro. Shit like that alone, I would have been done already. So I don't shout out to bro.
Wife, his son, countless friends, love interests, and watch Negan bash two of his closest allies' skulls in with a baseball bat.
Yeah,
I
like it
don't
gotta be
care
for the love of the
what
game
anybody
at this
says.
point.
This is going to have some serious mental
This nigga somehow made it through all that and still said, fuck it. It's another spinoff. Fuck it, a movie. A lot of character development in that one show, bro. What next, you know what I'm saying?
repercussions on an individual. And if that isn't enough, let me give you a real world example.
What next,
Take
bro?
PTSD in US soldiers from World War II. Each and every brave soul who fought on that battlefield didn't go into it thinking, yeah, this is definitely going to mentally break me for the rest of my existence. But for many of them, unfortunately, it did. On top of this, cases of PTSD only rose in prisoners of war, with nearly 60% of them coming away from the ordeal with the illness, which just proves the human brain in most cases will just break after witnessing terrifying or highly distressing events.
That's
like
bold,
these soldiers
though.
saw in war, or
That's
reality
bold.
check, like you would be seeing in the apocalypse. And watching your family and friends slowly turn into flesh-eating monsters or seeing them killed in front of your very own eyes is going to mentally destroy you. I think some people would just flat out opt out.
I think, yeah. Sucks that I would say something like that, but bro, like, I don't get it. It's like the world's at a point. He says zombies outnumber humans 5,000 to 1, nigga. That means for every person here, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think that lady, I think this is a separate body. This might be Beth. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 people, nigga. 5,000 zombies? 10,000? 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55,000 zombies for just 11 niggas that's right here alone. There's 55,000 walkers. That's fucking ridiculous. Like, that's just insane.
In a world like this, and others would
5,001 is a crazy
and
ratio.
Yes, we all like to think we'd be Rick Grimes dropping some insanely cold one-liners.
Besides,
he did have some hard liners,
I already
though.
made you a promise.
Yeah.
The harsh
Compound bow and a machete with a red handle. That's what I'm gonna use to kill you with. That nigga Rick was talking.
reality is most of us
I was
would
gonna be
more
Rick
likely
Grimes for
resemble
Halloween,
a character
but
like Clara from season 4 of the show. A woman who, after the death of her husband, clings on to survival but is depressed, delirious, and all alone. Until one day, Rick stumbles upon her. She tries to lure Rick back to her camp and use him as food for her reanimated husband in a state of delirium. But after he fights her off, she just asks to be left alone to die. As ugly and depressing as it may sound, most of our brains just aren't geared to witness the type of horrors an apocalypse would throw at them. Many people would break and become unhinged shells of their former selves, resulting in survivors breaking mentally long before they did physically.
Yeah, I think for the sake of this show, like this being a TV show and all, I think there would be a lot more mental issues in the day-to-day survivor than this show would like normally let on. Like, I think a realistic version of Rick Grimes, like, that motherfucker, like, he shouldn't be as sane as he is now. All the shit he's been through, like, I think the average survivor after a certain point would be like potentially the average crackhead that you see at the gas station at 3 a.m. Like, in terms of just like what's mentally going on, like, I think, yeah.
If you got hit, even if you were not,
Because it's just like, Jesus Christ is Lord, but
In the world of The Walking Dead, as soon as the date hit August 27th, known in the universe as Monument Day, a timer essentially begins, as this is the point food and other resources stop being produced, and the longer into the apocalypse you go, the more depleted supplies will become. Now, sure, you could try and grow your own food or hunt and fish, but unless you have some basic knowledge in these areas, you'll probably really struggle. We saw in the real world during a certain 2020 global pandemic how people picked the shops clean, leading to global shortages in certain goods. Well, now imagine the impact a zombie apocalypse would have on people's mindsets. They'd loot, steal, and pick clean everything from supermarkets and pharmacies in the first few hours of the outbreak. And after Operation Cobalt decimated the cities, just think about how many supplies were burnt to a crisp in the bombings.
In the nukes. See, yeah, good point right there, big fella. What's your name? That was a really good point, Theo Hunt. Mr. Theo Hunt, that was a really great point. I think fries in the bag for that shit. I'm not gonna lie, Christ forbid.
Would very quickly become a daily struggle. The moment the electrical grid fails, water treatment plants would shut down, and the pristine tap water we completely take for granted now would just flat out be gone. If you resort,
that's a wet pussy that I just witnessed, but in human form. If I have some big mouth shit, like I don't know. Okay.
Resorted to drinking from stagnant ponds, lakes, or local rivers without the means to properly purify or boil it, you aren't just quenching your thirst, but you're playing a dangerous game with a plethora of waterborne pathogens every time you take a sip. And in a world with zero operating hospitals and no access to basic antibiotics, even the smallest of sicknesses could become fatal. And then comes the starvation aspect. Most people have absolutely no idea how to grow crops, let alone maintain agriculture.
Bro, that's the government fault. Let's blame it on whoever runs this place for real. Because they want, we become so dependent. So it's like, yeah. I think I got an idea of how to grow crop. Like, I think it's like I think it involves a lot of maintenance and hard work, but I think I can get it done in terms of just like, I can put it together piece by piece over the course of time. But the thing is, I'm about to get a head start. Like, at that point, should you even try to make farmland? Like, you got to monk train and try to not die off of just hunger alone. So it's like, come on, bro. What? You're just gonna have to eat some. Like, bro, I just don't think your crop gonna grow fast enough if you hungry. Yeah, it's gonna be rough.
Land without commercial fertilizers, pesticides, and modern machinery. Your only option would be to scavenge the odd bits of food you could find, and possibly hunt if you had the knowledge and know-how. But as the weeks turn to months and then possibly years, if you've done really well at keeping yourself alive, the challenge would only further increase. Canned goods would expire, medicine would lose its potency, and gasoline would degrade so much it became basically useless, rendering any vehicles you had essentially worthless. Every single day would become a frantic and exhausting calculation of calories spent versus the calories gained. You are constantly operating on a state of starvation, leaving you weak, dizzy, and prone to fatal mistakes. And on top of this, your search for supplies would often
getting fried with the mason jar.
Take you to uncharted territories, leaving you at risk of being ambushed by the people who live there.
Nah, seeing Merle pull up was lit.
Or just having your camp raided in your absence. And finally, without the use of vehicles, you'd have to be physically fit as well to be able to outrun walkers and maybe even other survivors, and your cardiovascular endurance would be essential to survival in this environment. In conclusion, although many of us would like to imagine ourselves as this, in reality, most of us would probably look something like that. Because in
Come on, bro. Don't shoot the ego down. I just think it's a little rude and disrespectful to do such a thing. Don't tell me I can't be Rick Grimes in Apocalypse. Don't tell me I can't be Rick Grimes in Apocalypse. Don't tell me I can't. You feel me? That's just not fair.
In order to survive the world,
because as much as he think, as many points as he brought up to say why we couldn't survive this apocalypse, we could bring up just as many points to say why we would. Give me like
World of The Walking Dead, you'd have to survive a dormant airborne virus on day one. You'd have to guess the correct rules of the undead in a world where zombie media doesn't exist. You'd have to escape fire-bombed gridlock cities while the military tries to kill you, outsmart the often hostile other survivors, avoid losing your mind from the horrors you'd witness, and somehow find clean water and food every single day. And the harsh reality of it is, the vast majority of us wouldn't be the heroes of this story. We'd either be part of the infected herds wandering aimlessly through the landscape, or be like Clara, an emotional wreck after the death of our loved ones. Because ultimately, survival in this environment is brutal, and it isn't all about how tough you are, because it mostly boils down to a horrifying mix of genetic luck, geographical positioning, and psychological endurance. And that is why 99% of us just wouldn't survive The Walking Dead. I mean, the numbers from the series don't lie. But who knows, maybe the future Rick Grimes of the apocalypse is watching this very video, and in that case I apologise for severely underestimating your abilities.
You got me.
Look, I better than anybody understand how easy The Walking Dead may look to survive, and although it's nowhere near the worst apocalypse you could find.
Yeah, I think people pick this universe to be the easily like the most survivable one because it is. Obviously, the walkers don't sprint; they're dummies. So it's like, if you pick Zombieland, if you pick Z Nation, if you pick some crazy fucked up shit, something even worse like Last of Us, like all that shit's fries in the bag. That's literally Brock fried rice. Like that's cheddar, that's beef and broccoli, bro. Like it's cooked. Like it's no point even trying to survive in those verses because I don't think you can't. If there's zombies in the Walking Dead universe, outnumbers